Now I don't trust you and you don't trust me, and now it's games. Now you trying to figure out what it means to be a man. I'm trying to figure out what it means to be a woman.
Just kind of living at a base. I think all men want to be more. Yeah. One day they're going to wake up and realize that they wasted all their life not reaching these higher potentials, sexting and all that, and sleeping with everybody. There's so many of you all that can write a book. You can invent something. They're not learning what it is to be a man.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Rose Talks. I'm Rosalie, aka Rose. Welcome to our platform. I got a special guest for you today. Everybody welcome T. So glad you're here today.
Hubby.
Yep, my hubby. We are here to talk about all kinds of things with you. So get ready for a few episodes where we're just going to dive in, react to things. As some of you may know, welcome to all our new subscribers. We are all about entertainment meets education. There's so many videos out there nowadays that go viral. And it seems like people do a lot of shock value videos because, hey, the new currency is views.
Views.
I mean, dollars too.
I got you.
Views. And yeah, right? So if you can get people to polarize, like you've told me, you get people to love or hate you, that's great. But the problem that I've found is that a lot of times there's videos that get millions of views and everybody's talking and getting mad, but there's no practical takeaways. So this channel is all about going around the world, reacting, reviewing, gaining wisdom, and actually growing. Well, we're glad you're here. Thank you to our subscribers, by the way. I was mind blown how people have been subscribing, going from 0 to 6 to 11 to 70 subscribers now. So welcome. Make sure you click that subscribe button. Stay up to date on what's new. Let's dive in.
Let's get into this.
First thing I got prepared for you is a panel, a snippet of a panel from The Breakfast Club with different guests like Charlotte.
Is this the Breakfast Club?
Yeah, I think so. I think The Breakfast Club, that Breakfast Club channel is featuring this panel. Okay. And I think Charlemagne is hosting it, Ryan Mundy, Jason Wilson, Jay Barnett, and Maxwell. Okay. All these different guys. Cool. The topic is Black men and mental health, but I wanted to check it out because I think there may be a couple of things that apply to men in general. Mm-hmm. Because I think we need to talk about it. So let me shut up and we start. You ready?
All right, let's get into this.
All right, here we go.
But I'm sharing the stage with the gentleman who is responsible for making this all a reality. Let's give it up for Charlemagne the God, please. Joining us on this panel, we have some brothers here that are going to really make us feel as amazing as they've been chatting with us all backstage. Goodness.
Is that what he does?
That's not what he usually does. Or I haven't heard him.
I'm going to fast forward a bit just because you're introducing everybody and their mama.
I've been able to have this conversation on this beautiful Sunday, this World Mental Health Day, and these brothers right here, every single one of these brothers on this stage inspire me in a real way, so I'm just grateful. I just subscribing to society's view of a real man do more harm than good.
Let me go back. That's a key question. Hold on, let me go back.
I'm grateful to be able to have this conversation with y'all today, man, so thank you for coming.
Yes.
And I want to start with Jason, Mr. Jason Wilson. Jason, why does subscribing to society's view of a real man do more harm than good?
Why does
subscribing
to
society's view of a real man
do more damage than good? Okay. Society's views. All
right.
It's
a weird question because there's not just one
touche
answer to that. Like society and our culture, it has many.
That's true.
And that's the whole problem.
But what's the big one though? Like I know there's various ones depending on what country you go to, but if we look at like social media, well actually you're right, because now with the whole red pill movement, blue pill movement, there's new large groups of mindsets evolving. Do you think there's like a big main one though? If you had to pick one?
No, not really. Like there may be a bunch of similarities of what a man is, but I mean to say society has the view, is more of a view, but we'll see where they take the question.
That's a very good question. It does more harm because society's definition of a man is limited. As a black man, as what I'm learning now is just not our issue, it's a man's issue, but we've allowed ourselves to be defined by the culture, and the culture defines men only by masculine attributes. And when we only can live under masculine attributes such as strength, power and protection, etc., we really can't be the nurturers we were created to be. We can't be compassionate when we need to be. We can't be long-suffering or patient. And as a result of that, when we feel that we're becoming weak, which we all will at times become weak, we feel that we're not men anymore. And then you wonder why the suicide rate amongst black men is the highest in history right now. And so it's truly detrimental for a man to only be masculine. Now, is there a such thing as toxic masculinity? Absolutely not. As I was
Okay, that's interesting. I can see a couple of things.
There's not.
There's not. So I can see a couple of things. I see where he's going with the general idea of what a man is. Those keywords we associate with men: protection, provider, the things that a men are expected to do. Mm-hmm. That's my first thought. Okay, I think that's kind of what they're talking about, what society deems masculine. There's a whole lot of masculine words that are associated with the man. That already.
A man can't be anything except masculine.
Like as soon as a
he
man
can't cry, he can't be sweet or nurturing.
Yeah. Like you see a man who's like on the playground playing with his kids. A lot of women go, "Oh," because it's not normal, right? Mm-hmm. Because they're used to men. Men don't cry, right? Men are accused of teaching their children, you don't cry, get your act together, right? And so when you see a sensitive man or a man that's more female, he'll either be called gay, he'll be belittled, he'll be ridiculed.
I think that's the biggest one too.
Yeah.
That and I know for me, whenever I'm dabbling in my more like nurturing, loving, sweet,
right,
self, it's I have to battle myself on feeling like, wait, is that gay? Is that homosexual to cry or to hug or to run up and be happy to see not even my brother, but like a friend? So
to show a bunch of affection.
And it's more of it being on display with strangers or other people, other men that don't know you.
Right.
Because other men that don't know you, at first, you want them to respect you. And you can't gain their respect.
Right. If you're giving them kisses on the cheek and
or if they look at you and then they put you in a box of, oh, this is a soft dude, a weak dude.
Right. So
I think that has a lot to do with it too. Like us as men, and that's why a lot of the times when you're out like at the mall or I don't know, wherever you are, when another man looks at you, you don't want that man to think, oh, this somebody I could manipulate or harm in some kind of way. You want that man to know, like, hey,
you're the alpha.
Right. Yeah, I'm an alpha. You an alpha.
Yeah.
And sometimes like we're battling within ourselves if we're alpha or not, or if we're weak because we know all our shortcomings. We know all your failures and fears. So that's something that men battle themselves as well.
I find it interesting because when I hear those kinds of things, it makes me think people are ultimately like animals. Like it's a kingdom out there. The way that we are perceiving one another, the way we want to be perceived. Because females do that too, right? If I'm out with my husband, for example, if I'm out with you, right, and a female were to interact with you a certain way, I'm keeping my eyes on that, right? Like from one female to another, there's a certain assessment of like, are you friend or foe? Are you being respectful to me or are you trying to get his attention, right? How are you walking, acting? This mate's taken. Like, I'm saying? Like, it reminds me of the animal kingdom and these mating calls and the way the alphas, interact with the rest of the herd. And I want to know from you guys, he said he doesn't think toxic masculinity is a thing.
Back to what he said.
I know that I could see people being triggered by that. It may be more females than men that go, what do you mean? Because yes, it can be. I want to know from you guys, male or female, let us know in the comments below. Would you agree with that statement? Does toxic masculinity exist? Why or why not? What do you think before he starts? You think it does?
I think it does.
Define it.
I think, toxic masculinity is gone overboard on what we would deem or categorize as masculine traits. And like he was saying, like strength, wisdom, or knowledge, having knowledge, leadership, being the alpha, being the one to make the decision, having a plan, not being afraid, having a bunch of cojones, like all those things. It's like when you feel that you just have to be this one thing and that's what a man is, and you can't compromise being a little bit more tender with any individual, right? I can understand if you are that masculine energy when you're intense situation where you got to fight or you're in an argument or you're protecting somebody. But when you're at home with your family, with your wife or your children, you gotta, tone that back. Because you're not at war, you in a little garden. You ain't got to stump around and step on all the flowers.
Yeah.
You got to be more. You got to finesse a little bit, be a little bit more soft. Pick the flower up a little bit, hand it to your wife. Be tender.
Ooh, I like that. I like that metaphor. Not stomp on the flowers, but pick it up and hand it to your wife.
Right. Yeah. So
that's sweet. Yeah.
In certain situations, you want to be courageous. Mm-hmm. In other situations, you want to be empathetic, and you want to stop talking and stop leading, and kind of just sit back and listen.
So, would you say that too much of certain traits are toxic? It's almost like that saying, "Too much of anything is bad." You have too much of salt in your bread dough. It ruins the mix. Right. It's almost like these things in and of themselves are good in measure, but too much of it makes it poisonous, toxic, ruins it.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. We have to be comfortable on that continuum.
Yeah.
We got to learn how to comfortably and more efficiently flow from aggression to empathy and nurturing and to leadership, and then back to following and maybe supporting from behind. Just all these things that, people say, oh, women and this feminine energy and then men and this masculine energy. We got to learn how to flow back and forth effectively.
Okay. I think there's a lot of wisdom in that.
Sharing with one brother, if this building was on fire, we all need to be exuding masculine attributes to get up out of here to save our lives. However, a man becomes toxic when he allows his emotions, or he allows this masculine mandate to prohibit him from being comprehensive, basically expressing the other emotions that he's been given.
That's what you were just saying.
Yeah, don't be afraid to do that. We
to
all
be
gotta
more than
learn
one
how
thing.
How to be that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not just, like he said, boxed in.
I think there's a lot of wisdom in that, depending on what the person asking needs, though.
Right.
I feel like there's a lot of young men out there who are looking for specific guidance, and they could find comfort in learning, hey, being a man is a comprehensive thing, but I think some of them need this practical application. That's why many of them are drawn to Andrew Tate and the Red Pill movement and certain extremes, if you will. I know some people think it's not an extreme, the Red Pill movement. I'm still learning about it.
What is the Red Pill movement, actually?
Honestly, I'm still learning, and I've even had people in the comment section comment away. What do you know? I've had people go, oh no, you need to educate yourself on it. There's more to it. My understanding was that it's this play on the movie The Matrix, where he has a choice, blue or red pill. One keeps him asleep. You stay in your bliss. You stay asleep. The other wakes you up to reality, which is harsh.
So the red pill is waking you up.
I think so.
Is that the woke movement?
No, it's not the woke movement. I think it's kind of opposite to it. So that's me.
Which is interesting.
The woke
because
movement,
that's...
Well, the woke movement, in my opinion, is not woke at all. It's there's a lot of just the woke movement to me is this idea of being open-minded to everything. Right? I associate woke with an extreme level of liberalism.
Right. Yeah.
That's me. Yeah. Of course, we have everything and their mama in between. But the red pill movement is more people waking up to the idea that the world is not out to get women. There are certain women out there. I've heard it's more of an anti-feminist movement. I've had people in the comment section saying that's not true. But I was under the impression that it's been this movement that emerged from women acting out here like they're tens when they're not, thinking they run the world, feeling like they are the oppressed ones, and the patriarchal system is at fault for everything.
So the red pill is more like
counter.
the answer to.
I think so. It's people going
the opposite side of the pendulum.
I mean, I think especially men and even some women going, hold up. Men are the ones getting the short end of the stick here. This is not just, oh, the patriarchy has ruined everything for women. Men are out here hustling. They're the ones getting the short end of the stick because women are often initiating divorces, getting the alimony, getting the child support. Some people argue the red pill movement discourages men from commitment, and it's encouraging a mindset of just recycle women. Yeah. Just recycle them. Use them, toss them.
And so my definition is a comprehensive manhood, or becoming a comprehensive man, someone who's courageous, but also compassionate, strong, but sensitive, a man who can freely live from the good in his heart instead of his fears.
Ooh.
And that's good. And that's what I was saying. Like, when we're out there, we're fearful that we're insecure.
Yeah.
And I know this because I deal with it. When we're at the gas pump, and there's another man that gets out, you got real nice car, bling bling, and you running on a donut.
Yeah.
You feel some kind of way, and you want to uphold yourself. You know what? I'm not, worse off than you, and you might mean mug them or look at them, or you might not pay them attention with some kind of feelings in your heart. I don't know. Maybe I'm just the only one that deals with this, but
I highly doubt it.
But I mean, and even more like, like I said, being at the mall. I mean, we've been doing this since high school. You go to the mall, you with your guys, when you come across another set of guys, there's this ideal that, you know, both of your teams, us and them, are ready to go. It's just this machismo thing within men.
Yeah.
But why can't we just smile at each other?
Yeah.
Why can't we just share the love? Like, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Yeah.
Have a great day.
I think it makes...
Have a great day and nice to meet you. You know, like, hey, how's it going? You know, smile. And I've been practicing that more, making a purposeful decision to not act out of fear, but act out of love, even towards people, you know, that I don't know. Just share the love. But yeah, so yeah, I think that's a strong point that he hit on. Operating from a sense of fullness versus a sense of like insecurity. And I think, I think the better word for it is insecurity, not fear, because we are insecure in something. I think that helps you realize that you need to look in and say, what am I insecure about? What's inside of me that makes me feel this way about this person? Because it's not them. You don't know what they're thinking. Likely to be they're thinking and dealing with the same things you are, but it's you. It's something you're insecure about.
Something that I'm learning is that at the core of everything, it's either fear or love. And I noticed that it makes people uncomfortable. Some it does. When there's a level of confidence, healthy confidence. I'm not talking about arrogance or I'm better than you, but a level of confidence and friendliness. Sometimes it's just that I think if we're not careful, social media, the media, the news would have us thinking we're all divided. And it creates an even between men and women, by the way. I think that's why some of these movements emerge, because people are hurting. They're afraid, even though we don't want to admit it, right? Many men long for a woman that will submit to them, be kind, be loving. Many women want a man that protects them, that'll be loyal, that chooses them out of the fish of the sea, of all the beauty that's out there. Ultimately, we all want to be loved. We want our existence to matter. But we look around us and there's toxicity left and right and people not whole within themselves. And now everybody starts operating from a place of fear. Now I don't trust you and you don't trust me. And now it's games, right? And now you trying to figure out what it means to be a man. I'm trying to figure out what it means to be a woman. And it breeds suspicion. And wherever there's suspicion and fear, fruitful trees can't thrive. But we assume and we respond based on those assumptions. And then everybody just hides behind walls. Thinking I'm supposed to be something as a woman or man. And I think that's when we get stuck. We get stuck on definitions and labels. And we limit ourselves. Question for you, because you are of African American descent, and this panel was called Black Men, and they're all of
black men.
African American descent.
We ain't black men. We brown.
That's right. Dark brown.
Get rid of
light
black
brown.
man.
Shoot, please.
Black man.
Side note, we say that because if you look up different shades of brown, you will find all skin colors present. There's nobody black or white. Look up.
There's no such thing as a black man, a white man, a Chinese man.
No.
We all
it's human race, bro.
On the brown scale.
No, look it up for real, though.
Just look it up.
Yep. Just shades of brown. So, dark brown, beige over here.
Okay, let me stop.
Since this is called Black Men and mental health, as an African American, do you think there's certain expectations on men in the African American community? You know how there's like stigmas of many of them are not in the home, many women are single moms.
I mean, we have unique challenges to what it is to be a man, and but it's not different for us at all, you know. And by different, it's not different. I mean, on the grander scale, it's no different for us to deal with what it is to be a man than it is for anybody. What it is to be a man in America. Now, it's different in other cultures. You know, whether you go to Spain or Cuba, or you go to some African country, Tanzania, Libya, or you're here in America, all of us, we have certain wisdoms passed down in our culture, certain expectations that are put onto us that we are pressured into by our society. And of course, because we're an American society, the United States of American society, there's boxes that society in our culture pressures us into, us all as a whole. But on a large scale, white men or an Asian man in America or the black man in America, we're all going to experience pretty much the same thing. And I mean, there may be tiny differences based on our, you know, unique families and things like that. But when we move out of the house and we go off to college or we go into the business world, the expectations that are unspoken in these groups is put on us. For example, if somebody breaks into your office building, a lot of women, if you're in the room with a lot of women, you might feel that it's your job to protect them and to be the brave one in the situation, to kind of take lead. Now there may be some woman in there, I don't know. She's your vice president, of the hospital or the building. Now, of course, she, okay, administration says that we're supposed to handle this policy and procedure, what yada yada
She'll
yada.
lead because of her role,
but for the most part, a lot of men feel that it's their responsibility to take care of those that are with them. Now you can be courageous about it or you can fail from it, but you're still thinking I'm supposed to, whether you do it or not. So on a grand scale, no, it's not different. Okay. Man to man, but there are minor differences.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
You're really digging into is the ability to be willing to feel, to be vulnerable. So with that, how important is it for us to be willing to go there in order to release some of this toxic energy that could be and is very much built up inside of us as black men?
I think part of willingness is also having permission.
Okay.
Yeah, many of us as men have not had permission to feel. I think we've often have been led to believe that our emotions are invalid. And something that I shared recently, my mother just discovered me on YouTube. So she's 63. So she says, hey, I saw this video of you talking about some stuff with your dad. And she said, 63, she said, Jay, I didn't know men had emotions.
Wow.
And she told me, she said, I apologize for not understanding that you were going through and had feelings too. And I think part of us as men being able to feel is having the space to feel.
That's a crazy statement.
That is crazy.
I didn't know men had emotions. That's that's insane. That's crazy.
Can I add something there? Because I see some of these videos. I'm going back to that. I know the whole red pill movement and some of these channels. I see these snippets of interviews of men and women, what women want, what men want. And I haven't watched it yet, but I saw this clip that was going to go into, I guess, all that men look for. And I know there's these ideas in society. Oh, all men just want sex, right? That's the only thing they want, right? Or where women will go, men are simple, right? And I think that kind of goes along with the emotion, because I know sex is one of the biggest desires and needs for men. That's just biological. There's no doubt about it. But I think sometimes because of hurt, there's also these situations where women go, oh, men are all just pigs, they just want sex. Or men will put themselves in that box, right? Or it creates this idea of, oh, men are simple. We women are the, intelligent ones. We women are the ones that are multifaceted. As long as you can get him, give him sex and feed him. Simple, simple, simple. Depending on how we communicate that, it could set it up to look like men really don't feel that much. As long as y'all get laid and get fed, you're good. And some men are really okay with that. I mean, I know at the base, that's most of what you need.
I think we're really okay with that when we're not...
when you're not feeling a bunch of stuff.
When we're not living at our highest potential. I think we're just kind of living at a base.
Oh, okay.
Probably numb.
Just
but
kind of going through the motions?
I think all men want to be more than just...
sex and food?
Yeah. And I think if a man is dealing with that right now and all they are doing is sex and food, just basic
needs,
low hierarchy of need,
primal
kind of level, then one day they're gonna wake up and realize that they wasted all their life or so much time not reaching these higher potentials, and because of that, they'll realize at a point that there's so much more to life than just
getting laid.
Lower need.
You're really only alive when you feel, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got people in the hospital who are brain dead, right? And they're at some point pronounced dead because there's nothing left to feel. Literally, physically, neurologically, but even emotionally. What type of life is that if you can't feel your feelings?
And I think that's a message more for the younger men out there, in your early 20s, in your teenager years, to recognize that now at your current age. And at that age, other boys around you are not going to understand because they're operating as a boy.
Yep.
You know, they think it is about going to the mall and, you
Getting
know,
the
hollering
girls.
at girls and texting and, you know, sexting and all that and sleeping with everybody and going to parties, not knowing that they're not increasing their value as a person, their knowledge, their wisdom, things they've accomplished, right? There are so many of you all that can write a book. You can invent something. You can create a business. You could do so much that will just rocket you off in your adult years, and you can have so much more and provide so much more value to the world if you had that mindset. They're not learning what it is to be a man.
Yeah.
Or what it is to be them as a man.
Right.
Because they're not giving it the time it needs.
And I think, just to use Andrew Tate as an example, because I think your voice and the things you have to say are invaluable. That's the word for when something's like super valuable, right?
Yeah.
To young men out there. And y'all need to listen. I think there's a lot of men that are looking for that guidance from another man, because that's the only place they can really get it from, right? They look to people like Andrew Tate. And though Andrew Tate says quite a few stuff that I agree with and I think is important, I think, and Andrew Tate says this about women, that there's this cognitive dissonance between what they want and what they actually have, or what they think they want and what they then get. But I would argue that that even applies to some guys. A lot of the men who look to people like Andrew Tate want what he has and they like the things he says. But as of now, at least, I've not seen a lot of content that tells these young men how to achieve that wealth.
No,
I see a
not
whole
at
lot of
all.
conversations about women.
Right.
I see a whole lot of him being with the women that I don't know his personal life, but just like thumbnails that I see. It's a lot of the big-breasted, artificially looking Insta model chicks.
Mm-hmm.
So he's living a life, getting rich off of people going, I want to be like you. But there's no guidance as to how to be like that. And I would argue you can be like that as in wealthy and rich. He's an exception to the rule. But many more could be wealthy and rich if they didn't have those girls to distract you.
Right, yeah.
He's rich because he does what he does and he's a brand and people are looking to him. And then when we talk about him, the richer he gets. And now he can afford those superficial chicks because all they want is a millionaire, right?
Right.
And everybody else is going, oh my gosh, I want to be like him.
Yeah.
But they're not doing what it takes to be like him. Does
Right.
that make sense? Someone like
Yeah.
you want to have that wealth, but you're trying to live that lifestyle to get there. You're not going to, most people will not get to that place by hanging out with Instagram models. They're distracting you from doing the hard work, building a business, getting into real estate, doing whatever you got to do to build wealth.
Yeah.
He's a persona and people idolize that, and there's that cognitive dissonance between what they want and what you actually got to do to get there.
Right.
Not
And
living
it's
out
just
that.
to say for good things. I mean, he's hoodwinking the waka flocka out of everybody. You know, he's just saying what's going to get him views. But when you really check his life, I mean, we just saw a video of him just ratting himself out about what he doing.
was a one-on-one
it's
lesson how
such
to
an
pimp.
immoral life. And I'm telling you, if you check who the source of your information is coming from, you'll just see plainly it's not for you. It's not going to get you to where they are. What's going to get you to where you want to be is often the boring things and often the things that society shuns, right? Religion. That's going to get a lot of people to where they want to be. A lot of fulfillment is going to come from sitting down, reading a wisdom book and saying, this is the instructions that I'm going to take on and follow step by step and believe in it wholeheartedly when I wake up, when I go to sleep, right? Instructions of life. Do not be greedy. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the arms, and poverty will come upon you like a thief, a thief in the night, right? Get a mentor, find scripture, find some religious book that will lead you
Have moral instructions.
into a moral life.
Yeah.
That helps you be able to find the intelligence and wisdom to shun the things of the world, such as chasing women, sleeping with as many as you can, and having a mindset of, I just want money. I want money to get more women, to go party, to have a bunch of jewelry. All that stuff is not going to get you anywhere. What's going to get you somewhere is adding value to the world. You want to add value to the people that are around you. You want to add value to your family. You want to add value to your job. You want to add value just by walking out into a store. Like I said, love other people, smile, say, hey, how's it going? Hello, good day. You know what I'm saying? You're going to make that person's life better, and they might remember you for a day. So what Andrew Tate is teaching you is not how to add value to your life. He's just telling you what you want to hear. He's repeating what culture is repeating. You know, it's like food with no substance, like white bread, Wonder Bread, you know? Stop.
No, I'm laughing because I'm like, and then that type of mindset, yours, not his, gets you a wife that's gonna get you some because of all the wisdom you spewing. Because that's attractive, my friends. You want a good wife that does know how to cook and clean? You know what I'm saying? All joking aside, but that type of life, morality, value, that will get you laid too by a good woman.
And women want that.
All joking aside, that makes you, to me, all the more attractive.
Right, yeah.
Because there's a ton of guys out there that maybe have the looks, maybe even have the money, but it's like you said, it's white bread. There's no substance.
Right,
because all of it will fade. The money will go, the beauty will go for men and women. Maybe men lose it a little slower than women do, but it goes.
Yeah.
And it's this desperate attempt to deal with their existential fears, right? It's like fame, wealth, money, and it's like people panicking because time's running out. But again, I want to clarify. There's a few things he says that are value, but to your point, the lifestyle doesn't add up. It's like then you see some of these clips where he says something kindly or in wisdom, and it's like, oh snap, and then you suddenly giving us a one-on-one class on how to pimp and how to make women think they need you to make money off of sex, and it's like, whoa, what? Like that other clip we saw, that girl that was beautiful physically, but the girl that says, oh, $50K a year from a man is not enough, it needs to be $1 million, right? And that mindset disgusted you. Physically, she was beautiful, right? Men would say,
she was
she's
not. I mean, like, even physically, the things that come out of her mouth,
that's
it's
true.
just like,
but I'm saying, like, in
like, run far away from her.
But like, oh yeah, run.
Yeah.
But no, I'm talking about run. I'm talking about from a societal standpoint. I could see many men and some women being like, oh, she's beautiful. But the thing is, people often think being a 10 nowadays means just looks, and they forget, like, wait a minute, no, you can't cook, you can't clean, you know what I'm saying?
It's so disgusting.
You can't pick anything up because your nails are so long. Like, come on now. Like, it's a mindset where that dissonance happens of the things we say we want and what we're actually doing to get it. Let's just see what he responds.
Yeah,
and then
the
we'll wrap
only
up for the
thing
day.
Andrew Tate has to offer people is dangling a sweet life in front of you. That's it.
And
That's
he gets
it.
and he gets rich.
And then how's he gonna teach you how to get rich? Oh, manipulate women.
Yeah, what does he? What does he say?
You know what I'm saying? Like, make
that?
women think they need you. That's your advice for being a man? Manipulate women, make a lot of money, and buy a Ferrari? That's what life is about? No,
no,
it's not.
Yeah,
it's not. And he's bamboozling all of y'all. You know, just stop. Follow some more wholesome men.
Yeah.
Boom.
I have yet to see more clips if there's actually ever any practical steps that he gives on building wealth.
I mean, what he say? It sound nice.
Yeah.
I ain't even gonna lie. It sound nice. It's like, oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
Well, it's almost like an inflated.
I'm alpha, you know what I'm saying? Okay. You know, but at the end of the day, like, when you lay your head down, you have not bettered yourself. You know, listening to him might have encouraged you, but encourage you to do what? You know, with that encouragement he's giving you, what is he telling you to do? You know, and if you do that, you tell me. You go out there, you experiment, do what he says, and see how that makes you feel inside. See if it make you feel whole, like you got more value to yourself. You listen to him, you ain't gonna go nowhere. You going nowhere fast, you know.
All right.
And giving permission that it's okay to acknowledge that your feelings and your emotions are real, rather than just kind of, you know, avoiding it, as most of us have done.
All right, we're going to finish up on that note. So ending with the note of, in order to be able to feel, especially as a man, because this focus today is on men, you have to give you have to give yourself permission to feel. Agree or disagree?
I think you do have to give yourself permission to feel, but I think for men, that person that's supposed to give us permission is our father, you know, or our uncle. You know, men surrounded us that we grew up with, or that become our teacher, that says, hey, how you feeling, man? You doing okay? Hey, come here, bro.
Yeah.
You know, it's all right, man. It's all right, man. You know, like, I love you. You know I love you. I believe in you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Stay encouraged. And then maybe you just can't get it. Maybe you're afraid. And they say, it's all right, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead and cry.
Guidance from a father.
That's dad's position in your life. You know, that's dad. I mean, dad's going to be tough. Come on, man. Suck it up. Stand up. Brush yourself off. But at some point in your life, when your dad comes to you and he says it's okay, you're going to be okay, and you were crying, and at that moment he accepted you for who you are, then you know it's okay to do that. So he had given you permission to do that. But a lot of us, we don't have that person in our life that sat us down, or we had that experience with where we accepted and still respected by that individual.
Yeah.
For all
That's
that
key.
we were.
Accepted and respected.
You know, and I think those experiences give us permission to be in unlimited, an unlimited man.
Yeah.
A man unchained.
Unlimited man. Ooh, a man
Yeah.
unchained. I like that. Y'all, we're going to wrap it up for today. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Regardless if you're African American or not, or wherever you're from, specifically you men out there, hope we said some things today that encouraged you. But let us know in the comments. What do you think what it means to be a man? Where do you get your wisdom from? What do you have to add? As always, make sure to like, share, subscribe. We're growing fast. I'm really just mind blown. So subscribe, be part of the team that gets this up and running, and we'll see you on the next one. See you then.